some formalities.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem sung by
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship-trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic excellence.
We recorded in advance, but it is aired just prior to the football game. Our conversation with Rob Manchester, head coach in Georgia Military. Coach, how you doing?
We're doing great. Recuperating from being on the road and looking forward to this weekend.
Speaking of doing great, what about a second half of football against Tyler? It was a 10-7 halftime, but man, you poured on in the second half. Had to have a good feeling walking away from Texas.
We did. That was a good bus ride home. Any win on the road is great, and be able to get it against a top-notch opponent. That Southwest Junior College Conference is always extremely tough. Give them credit. I mean, I think they had a lot to do with us in the first half. I mean, they have a lot of good-looking kids, coached well. Coach Jacobson does a great job out there, and I just think that eventually, hopefully, in the second half, we were able to kind of impose our will a little bit, be a little bit more physical, and we started making some plays and coming off the ball, all that kind of stuff. And I think we kind of sealed the deal with the pick six, and young men played extremely well.
You mentioned kind of generically, I guess, what you thought was the biggest difference from one half to the other. Kind of going more in depth, I mean, what, in analyzing half one and half two, what were those major differences?
I just think we decided I was kind of asking Coach Reddy, is like, hey, what are we doing offensively? It just felt like they started slow, weren't coming off the ball. And I think we did that in the second half for sure. Obviously, Traquan, sprang loose there for a 66-yard run, I believe it was. But anyway, and then, I mean, you only gave up 10 points in the whole game. We shut them out in the second half. I think our D-line started coming on. We started getting some pressures and some sacks. And I think at the end of the day, I mean, it's kind of the second week. Got to give my strength coach, Chess Cullins, all the credit. I mean, second week, Coach Schroemeyer said it from Iowa Western, and first thing Coach Jacobson said was, you're physical, you get after it, you're strong. So I think we really started getting after it at the point of attack, and I think that goes back to all the training that we've done in our weight room in the off season, and obviously we've recruited some pretty good players, and I think it just comes down to what the work we've put in the off season, and may have waited till the second half for that to kind of break them down a little bit, hopefully, but I think that's what the big key is just what we've been doing in the off season.
You're averaging 40-plus points per ball game, and as an outside observer, when you're looking at high-powered offenses, admittedly, you're thinking, or at least I am, you're putting the ball up a lot. You're throwing the football a lot. You're doing it on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I one thing that just completely honest with you, full transparency, was, I guess, being a defensive coordinator all those years. I'm more worried about stopping the run first. Obviously, all kinds of offenses are good offenses, but I really like, I think the things that posed me the most problems when I was doing it all those years was 11, 12 personnel, a tight end in the game, different types of motion and all those type of things. And then in a little bit of an option threat, because you got to work on that. It's not like the academies and stuff like that, but that's what I looked for. And that's what Coach Reddy wanted to do. That's what he does. That's his system. And, we're going to run the ball. And I think when you can physically impose yourself running the ball on somebody, that opens up obviously more things as well. But we're going to be a run first offense. We led the country last year in rushing. We're blessed to have, I think, three really, really good running backs. Got a great quarterback that can beat you with his feet. And that's a little bit different too. One thing that did worry us about Tyler was that number 10 could beat you with his feet scrambling. And I think we were able to finally get after him in the second half. But I think when you got to prepare and defend 11 and not just 10, I think that's tough on coordinators. So I mean, we're doing it running the ball, and then hopefully get some big plays in the passing game. So we want to be a physical team, so that's what we're doing.
I got to ask, because you ran it a couple of times on Saturday, the option, which is kind of a throwback. Hey, are we going to see the wishbone at some point?
I don't think you're going to see the wishbone, but Coach Reddy, he runs the triple. He runs a couple different variations of the option. And I think if it presents itself, you keep showing it on film. Teams are going to have to work on it. And I think that we got some one-hit guys. If you get it on the edge, not just a couple. I think Chip can take it to the house anytime. Traquan, Keenan, Trayvon is a bruiser. He's a bigger back. He's huge. So we're going to do everything we can. I think we're blessed to have a really good O-line right now. And, hopefully we can keep it going.
I got to ask you, there is now, and it was a reality a couple of years ago, but this year there will be kind of the equivalent to a junior college Heisman at the end of the year. There is a watch list. I think Chip Cooper ought to be on that watch list. You're talking about a dual threat guy who may not have spectacular passing numbers, but he doesn't turn the ball over. And if you can put, and he probably will by the end of the season, 1,000 on the ground and 1,000 through the air, you ought to be looked at.
Oh, I think so too. I think maybe the only chink in his armor right now is, maybe he doesn't look like what Iowa State's, quarterback looks like, 6'2", 6'3", and maybe 200 something pounds, Chip is right at 6 foot, he put those cleats on and everything. He's not short, but he can beat you with your feet. And I think he can definitely find somebody out there that uses that type of system, whatever they're doing. I think he'd be a great addition to anybody. But, you hear a lot of the coaches that we talk to, other buddies that we have in this business, especially in junior college, and when they love him, he's tough. He's a competitor. I think he's definitely and should be in consideration, one of the top junior college athletes in the country.
Central Georgia Tech coming to town this week. That is part of that new, well, I guess officially they're all conference teams, but it's not necessarily a football conference yet, but will be, I think. What does Central Georgia Tech bring to the table? I understand they won last week.
Yeah, they did. They've had a couple games. Their head coach, Cato Hidson, is a GMC alum, played here back in the early mid-'90s. He knows all about GMC. He's doing a good job down there. They were clubbed. They decided to go Division I in JCAA. They're getting there, getting off the ground. And, we got to be ready. It's an they're all in the GCAA now. So we do have a conference, even though we kind of operate a little bit independently because there's only 3 of us, kind of like, the Iowa schools. They do play in the Kansas League, but kind of similar to them. But at the end of the day, just watching them on film, they got some big guys up front, offensive and defensive line wise. You can tell they got some skilled kids, young men, and we got to be ready to play. It's I guess I wasn't here back when they had Middle Georgia. That was in Cochran, Georgia. They had some battles. Now we kind of have some in-state rivalries. Hopefully, can generate and get going. It's great for our state. Great for a lot of young men in our state that they have one more option to. 2 more options to be able to go play and maybe make it to the next level. And we got to be ready to play. Like I said, they definitely look athletic, and we got to be ready to get after it on Saturday.
Always like to go into sick bay and see who is not able to play the game. What's the health of the Bulldogs?
We're healthy. We came away from that game healthy again. It was a battle. never easy getting on the road. What a beautiful facility they have there. Excuse me. Like I said, they have some really good looking kids on their team, and we're able to come away unscathed. Got one of our safeties, Jabari Baker, a little bit of a hamstring, but other than that, everybody came away healthy, and hopefully he'll be able to get back out there this week. So.
One last question related to last week, and that is the fact that you were on the road last week and you limit the number of guys that you bring. Were there, after the fact, in your hindsight, did you go, man, yeah, I do wish we'd brought this guy, or maybe we should have done this a little different, or did you like the group that you brought to Texas?
Oh, definitely like the group we bought. The big thing is, with so many kids now, we're able to kind of start generating more of a red shirt type program thing going. We've still brought 70 young men, which, it was a little packed on the bus, but, it was, I think we brought the right ones. And some of the guys that haven't played yet, we still brought for emergency purposes, but we're able to kind of keep that red shirt on them. But I mean, we brought 70 with us. We'll probably have close to 80 still dressed for home. There were there's some individuals that we didn't take that would be able to help us on special teams and that kind of stuff. So, no, I felt really good about how we traveled and everything.
Coach, congratulations on the big win, 2-1 on the year. Good luck against Central Georgia Tech, the Titans, and we'll talk after the football game.
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
The pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. Since 1879, we have transformed students into effective leaders and engaged citizens, grounded in civility and respect for others. Whether you want a traditional college experience, something closer to home, or education online that suits your schedule, Georgia Military College is committed to helping you succeed. Start here. Go anywhere.
Hi, everybody. Rain is falling. It is light rain here at Davenport Field, Milledgeville, Georgia. The number 9 ranked team in the country, Georgia Military College, taking on now in-state rival Central Georgia Tech. Hi, everybody. Robert Williamson set to bring you the coverage. And, hey, Kenny Franks is here. So we're good to go now. You talk about extra work on a rainy day for Kenny and company, but they are up to the task. Good to see Kenny Franks up here in the box, making sure we are good to go. And indeed we are. Titans and Bulldogs about to get underway. A big thank you to the folks that make coverage possible on a game-in, game-out basis. And we're talking about CBiz as well as Enos Legal, the auto accident firm. After the game, there's where you need to head, Pickle Barrel. It's not as hot today, but heck, still a good day for a Coca-Cola. Also brought to you by Bug House Pest Control. Ortho Georgia Orthopedic Specialists. Obviously, Georgia Military College. And a reminder, the fundraiser ongoing. Release the Dogs. So you're going to want to help out the athletic program by checking out that QR code. Well, we learned just a few moments ago that in a Wednesday practice, Chip Cooper was hurt. Apparently not seriously. That's the good news. But the bad news is he, though dressed out and was a captain, is not going to be on the field. At least that's the plan. He would be available in emergency situations, but won't be on the field. Jalen Brown will get his first start, the LaGrange redshirt freshman who had his first playing time ever against Gyra Prep. Threw a couple of picks in that one, but he's now had an opportunity to work with the first team throughout the course of a couple of practices, and They say he
Here we go.
is
Let's go,
ready to go.
Dogs.
And speaking of ready to go, I got your game underway. It is returned from the 3. Out to the 23, breaking tackles to the 35. And that is where things will begin. First down and 10 on the return by Demare Franklin. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news to begin coverage, but Chip Cooper out. Opening coin toss was won by the Bulldogs. They opted to defer. They will not get the ball until the second possession of the first half. And we'll have it for the first possession of the second half.
On that tackle, number 17.
Well, his jersey's kind of bunched up. I think
First and 10 on the 30.
that is a 9, which would be Brandon Moss. Could be an 8, which would be Nathan Miller. In the backfield, a quarterback for the Titans of Central Georgia Tech, anticipating a lot of pass with a 4 receiver set and a single setback, but it is a soggy day, as I mentioned. So not sure how effective a pass game would be. Not a whole lot of running room for Michael Caballero.
On the tackle, number 35.
Gains a yard, 2nd and 1. This is one of the best defenses in the country, and in some instances, the best in the country against the run. Teams have found it very difficult to run against. Now, I will say, when you look at the Central Georgia Tech numbers, they look really impressive against the run, too, but and not taking anything away from the likes of River City Prep and the PC Bandits. But they are not the number 9 team in the country. Miller flushed out of the pocket and will fire incomplete.
3 or 4 Bulldogs.
Able to get rid of it and avoid the loss, but it will be a 3rd down and 9.
3rd down.
On the
9
incompletion.
yards to go.
Because of the rain and because of the clouds, not going to get very warm today. That's good.
Kerry Jones
But
in the
because of
backfield
the clouds and
for
rain,
number
it's
5, number 12.
going to be a messy Davenport
Back
field.
there in the backfield, Javon Kinchin.
3rd down and
Jordan
9.
Haynes. That's your defensive backs.
Central Georgia Tech has got to get across the 40-yard line. Miller with QB.
Also Anthony
This is a
Carter.
team that has thrown for 222 yards in a couple of outings. Nowhere to go for Miller.
92
8 sacks on the year for the Bulldogs coming in, and there is number 9.
Fairburn, Georgia. 6 feet.
And a 4 and out for the
260
Titans.
pounds.
It will be 4th down and long in a punting situation. Joshua Gutierrez to kick. And back to receive. You know, you got 2 8s, Phillips and Haynes. That is a short kick. Well, the net yardage gained on the punt, 5. And the Bulldogs will take over with excellent field position to begin this one.
Short punt. So
No
we're
opportunity
get the
for
ball
the
on back
return.
36. 1st and 10.
And it'll be 1st down and 10. And there you see Jalen Brown in the backfield.
Jalen Brown in the quarterback for the Dogs.
Draquan Jones in the backfield as well. Low snap, give goes to Jones. Jones inside the 35, down to the 33-yard line.
Traquan Jones, the ball carrier, picked up 4 yards, 2nd and about 6.
Well, I talked to Leland Reddy prior to
87
the
yards.
start of the game, and he said at least to begin with he was going to call the ball game just as if Chip Cooper was on the turf. And I'm sure what happens during the course of the game will dictate whether that continues over the course of the game. And indeed, Brown is going back to pass. He will fire long into the end zone. Touchdown, not a shabby way for Jalen Brown to start things.
Trenton Smith, as we strike early here in the first quarter, 12:32 on the clock.
You gotta love it Touchdown pass
Number 19,
to Trenton
Ackworth,
Smith.
Georgia native.
Covering a total of 33 yards, but what you've got to love about it
Point after.
is Brown, who threw a couple of picks in that game against Gyra Prep, steps up with confidence, launches one, puts it on the numbers. And Smith with a 33-yard touchdown pass from Brown.
Point after is good.
Perez with the extra point kick,
Jalen
good
Brown.
as well. Freddie Perez tees it up, boots it towards the sidelines. Able to snag it is Franklin, and he will bring it upfield. Across the 15 to the 20, maybe ill-advised to make the catch so close to the sidelines. Did a balancing act, though, and able to stay in rather than stepping out inside the 5. And will bring it out to the 20. Where it is first down and 10 for the Titans. I like the play. Jalen Brown's 33-yard touchdown strike to Smith. Coach showing confidence in Brown's ability. Going upstairs just 2 plays into the ball game. Brown showing confidence in his abilities. And just laying it on the money to Smith. Well, it looked like there was a little movement from the tight end. And, yep, there was indeed a little move towards the center of the field from Price Hamilton.
Central Georgia Tech. First down.
Gampy, 99.
So they'll be moved back 5 and snap it again, this time with a second.
Mayan Conaway, 91.
Make that, I think that's a first. The down marker says 2, but, you know, hey, I can miss something along the way, but I think it is first and 15. Handoff given up the middle. Not a whole lot of running room for Caballero. And it'll bring up a second down and 12, 3 on the carry for Caballero. Big matchup next week. I know the Bulldogs aren't thinking about the Falcons yet, but Lackawanna is on the horizon. Miller with a pass over the middle and is caught.
Good catch on the tackle.
Gain of about 8 on the pass play to Guyton.
For the Bulldogs.
And it'll bring up a third down and 4.
Central Georgia with a third.
Central Georgia trying to pick up their first down of the football game. Central Georgia Tech and Andrew College, 2 teams in the GCAA that had added football programs this year, officially listed as independents this year. But continue to play, and wow, what a stop. Big play from Jakari Jones. Ran the pass play perfectly. Franklin dropped.
All over the football field.
And it will be a 4th down and long. Well, it is windy too, and that's blowing my notes all over the place. Got them semi-taped. I guess I've got to go to a more full-time versus semi-taped. 4th down and 10. 5-yard punt last time. This one noticeably better. I believe that is Haynes. Of course, as I mentioned, there are 2 8s. Phillips and Haynes. I think it is Haynes that returns punts, and Phillips typically kicks. There is a flag. And let's see what the infraction is. Dave Elner is our halftime guest, the commissioner of the GCAA. Well, let's see what the officials say happened. Got a hold on the return. So the Bulldogs not going to have as good a field position.
Holding on the receiving.
And as a matter of fact, it happened to the 49. That's where it's going backwards from.
10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, GMC.
So it is a 10-yard penalty from the point of infraction, but when you consider where Haynes had returned the ball, that's a pretty big loss. About a 25, 30-yard loss on the play.
So we're going to start on about our 38. First and 10.
So it is first down and 10 at the 38-yard line. Brown with a give to Jones. Jones right side, running room, midfield, scampering down the sidelines. Still on his feet, driven out of bounds inside the 30. Uh-oh, late flag, tempers flaring. And let's see who the flag will be against. Or if there will be offsetting penalties. Last week we were in Tyler, Texas, and it was a 35-10 Georgia Military College win with a big second half. Down at halftime 10-7. But pouring it on in half number 2 in the defense, withstanding the test as well, shutting out the Apaches in the final 2 quarters of the game. Well, just based on the length of the discussion, kind of thinking there may be more than a single player involved. Our official about to sort it all out for us. By the way, my apologies for the voice. Did some football last night. I was indoors, but it was a rainstorm. I don't know if it was being so close to all that precipitation.
Have 2 fouls on the play.
A little ragged today.
Personal foul, Central Georgia, number 1. Personal foul, number 12, GMC. Those penalties offset. First down, GMC.
So Mekhi Harvey with an infraction for Central Georgia Tech. And it was Johnson picking up the foul for Georgia Military. And that winds up being, if you're looking for one of the 2 teams with a positive coming out of the penalties that were offsetting,
All right, looks like we're on about.
it's going to be the Bulldogs because of the Traquan Jones run. Apparently stepped out at about the 34-yard line where it is first down and 10. Handoff given up the middle. I believe that is Jones again on the carry.
Jones on the carry.
He'll gain a yard or 2, brings up a second down and 8. By the way, yes, we're going to do all the normal stuff. Got your third quarter shout-outs coming. You might want to go ahead now. I know it's way in advance. But go ahead, start thinking. Get those creative thinking caps on. What you going to say? We'll do that in the third. Dave Elder, the commissioner of the GCAA, our halftime guest. Brown drops back to pass, launches one, and there is another big toss. This guy did not throw a couple of picks in his only 2 passes against Jaimer Prem, did he? Wow, another just perfectly thrown ball. And again, it is Smith on the receiving end.
My bad, he's down on the 6.
And it'll be first down and goal from the 6. Jalen Brown has looked very comfortable in the pocket. Handoff given to Phillips, and Phillips trying to bust his way into the end zone.
Keenan Phillips.
And, well, I still haven't seen an official indicate, but apparently they did. And Phillips with a 6-yard touchdown run. Perez trots onto the field. Will try to go 24 of 24.
Perez with the point after.
Extra point kick. Trying to make it a 14-zip ball game. And Perez will do just that. Bulldogs by a couple of TDs. Perez with the kick in will go into the end zone. And that'll bring it out to the 25-yard line, and that is where the Titans will begin their third offensive series of the football game.
Touchback, Central Georgia.
Good start for Georgia Military without starting quarterback Chip Cooper. But Jalen Brown has been sensational, 2 for 2. Both tosses going to Smith. One for a touchdown, the one set up a TD. And the third offensive series of the game starts at the 25 for Central Georgia Tech. Ball on the turf. I'm not sure that Miller was ready for the snap. It looked like he was not anticipating the snap when it came. But it was there, ready or not, and he has to fall on it after a 5-yard loss.
Second and about 15 or 16 for Central Georgia.
And it'll bring up a second down and 15. Miller sending Franklin in motion. I'm not sure if that was a handoff or another bobble. But what it winds up being is a couple of yards on the loss.
Back them up a little bit.
And it'll bring up a third down and a little longer. Third down and right at 18.
Ball's on the 16-yard line.
Georgia Military College, number 1 in the country in rush yardage. In rushing yardage attempts. Popped up on the ricochet. Bulldogs have got it inside the 10, inside the 5, backing his way into the end zone. Touchdown. And McCrae's done it again.
On the play.
There is a flag. Let's see if it stands. Last week, a big pick six. This one of 32 yards. That week of about 60 plus. But is it coming back? And, of course, the question is twofold. If it's coming back, is it giving the ball back? No, it's not. It is going to be a hold charged to Georgia Military. So the pick stands, but the TD does not.
We're on their 36-yard line. 1st and 10.
Once it was batted up into the air, you knew there was a possibility of a dog getting underneath it on the ricochet, and why not McCrae? He's been a guy who just has a nose for where that pigskin might be. And then packed his way into the end zone for 6, but you erase on the holding infraction the 6. But the offense will trot onto the field. And Jalen Brown again inside Central Georgia Tech territory at the 36-yard line, where it is first down and 10. Big opening, big run. Jones sliding between a defender, the block, into the end zone. And the Bulldogs on the board again, this time a 36-yard Traquan Jones run.
Number 6.
So Perez trying to tack on the extra point. Kick up, and it is good. Bulldogs by 21.
Duty, honor, country. Those are the words we live by at Georgia Military College as we aim to instill patriotism in our students as they develop into effective leaders and engaged citizens. Whether you're looking for a traditional college experience with intercollegiate athletics and Corps of Cadets, satellite campuses close to home, or a global online leadership college where you pursue your degree when it's convenient for you, the pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. We are committed to helping you succeed as a student in the classroom, as an athlete on the field of competition, as a cadet leading your peers, or as a student online. At Georgia Military College, you can start here, go anywhere.
Traquan Jones, his third touchdown of the season, this one from 36 yards away. And with that run, he is now over 200 yards on the young season. Return out to the 23.
13 on the tackle, Jabari Baker.
And Franklin ran over one of his own players. 21 zip lead, Georgia Military. I think Georgia Military, I have not gone back into the history books to verify, but I'm feeling pretty confident that this year they will play more Georgia teams than they've ever played in a single season prior. Got Central Georgia Tech, you've got Andrew College, you've got Middle Georgia Prep. Handoff given to Thomas, and Thomas will have the best run of the game for the Titans.
First down for Central Georgia, up around the 40.
And that'll become the first down in the football game for the Titans.
36.
Out to the 36-yard line where it is first and 10. Inside 7 to play. Corner number 1. Over the middle with a pass and back-to-back plays that picked up positive yardage. Fugerson on the catch. Not 10, but 7. It'll bring up a second down and 3. Movement, and I think that movement was an offensive lineman. Looked like somebody moved early, and that somebody is Christopher Morris. Just a little ahead of the snap.
Jarris Cody in the game for the Dogs, number 31.
Penalty yardage back to the 38. And it'll bring up a second down and 8. Miller trying to pass, batted down.
Looked like his arm was moving forward.
And that'll be an incomplete pass.
We're going to have a third
Bulldogs saying, hey, just for good measure, let's take off towards the end zone. And if there's no whistle, and he didn't have that arm in motion, then we got 6, but his arm was in motion. And it'll bring up a third down and 8.
Was ready to go with that ball.
Miller dodging one would-be tackler, steps up, fires, incomplete. And there's a penalty flag on the play.
41.
So we shall see.
Defense, number 8.
That was a hold charge to the defense.
First down.
And it'll be enough for the first. First down and 10 for the Titans. Just a couple of yards shy of Bulldog territory. Football at the 48, where it is first down and 10. Most productive drive of the game for the Titans. Handoff given up the middle. Roy Thomas on the carry, trying to get back to the original line of scrimmage. And if he did, that will be it. And it'll be second down and long.
Second down for Central Georgia.
Second down, we'll call it 11. And I'm giving again to Thomas. And Thomas, that pile of humanity moving into Bulldog territory.
10 dogs on the tackle.
Well, it looked like he was stopped at the line of scrimmage, but
Central Georgia, third and about 7.
Titans kept pushing.
That Bulldog defense stacking them up, but they're on our 47-yard line with a third down.
It is a third down. Question is, are you in 4-down territory down by 21 zip? With about 5 minutes to play in the quarter. Incomplete, intended for Franklin.
They'll bring up a fourth. Christopher Watson.
And we may have gotten our answer. Miller was staying on the turn. So a 4th down and 6, football at the 48. And there was a penalty flag, and let's see if it is going to be a 4th and 6 or a 4th and 11. And based on the reaction of Miller and those hands going up,
57, offense.
it is going to be a 4th and 11. Now, does that change the complexion of the play? And do you now bring your punt team in?
That's going to make it 4th and about 11.
On a 4th and 11, it doesn't look at this moment as if that will be the case. Miller on a 4th down and 11. He will launch one, and it is incomplete, leading his intended target.
Number 2.
Sandiford just a little bit too much. And a loss of downs. Football back over to Georgia Military, who have had 3 drives, and they have all ended in 6. And here is drive number 4, about to begin at the 4:33 mark. Well, still Lackawanna on the agenda a couple of times here and in Pennsylvania. Still got snow.
The offensive line for the Bulldogs, 61, Gabe Pierce.
Still got a Lewisburg team. I know that's a
Isaiah
D3.
Turner, 62.
But they sometimes can present some
Jonathan
problems.
Ashley, 70.
But if you're the Bulldogs and you're looking at the possibility of one of those 4 spots, Jones met behind the line of scrimmage and drop.
Charlie Allen, 70.
Yes, very premature to think about it. Still got Monroe County. But heck, you just can't help but think about the possibilities after a 1-point loss to the then number 1 team in the country, who lost to the then number 2 the following week by 1. So if you're the Bulldogs and you run the table, I like the odds of getting into the Final Four. Well, again, the Titan defense tightening up. Jones dropped behind the line of scrimmage, and it will bring up a 3rd and long.
Third long for the Dogs.
Football on the 47. Got to get to the 37 of the Titans to pick up the first. A little misdirection and dropped at the line of scrimmage. Lee Niles.
Lee Niles on the carry.
Picked up about 3, but needed about 13. And the first punt of the afternoon
Cole Snyder.
for Cole Snyder, averaging 38 per kick. Rodney Johnson back deep to receive. And there is a whistle from the back judge, which typically is a delay of game, but let's see. Could be.
Illegal substitution.
Yep. There was the other thing it could be. Illegal substitution.
5-yard penalty.
Well, trying to decide whether to mark off the yardage. Nope. Not trying to. They do now. Snyder now standing at his 38. And you got a couple of return guys now. Harvey is also back deep. Snyder's kick. Wow, what a kick by Snyder.
Y'all give it up. You don't see
Took out the 9-iron and dropped it. It took a back step to the 3.
That is as good as it gets. He put that ball out at the 2 or 3 yard line down there.
And that is where the Titans will take over first down and 10.
It over 50 yards. My goodness.
Big Cole Snyder kick. You talk about a weapon. One of those kind of unsung heroes when you get to the end of the year, are the guys on your kicking team, whether they're kicking PATs or field goals or punting away. They can give you an edge if you get into a situation where everybody is pretty evenly matched. Out across the 5 to the 6 yard line.
Jordan McCray on the tackle.
That is
12.
Thomas on the carry.
Jordan always busy out here on defense at Davenport Field.
2:34 to go. Quarter number 1. Boy, it seems like we've played a half of football. But we're still in the first.
Georgia. Jordan McCray from McCray.
Well, I see the guys on the roof in the end zone here. And it looks like they're flying a drone over the play. Boy, I need to check, see if I can log into that shot. I'm sure it is a good-looking shot. Thomas trying to pick up additional yardage, trying to get out of the shadow of his own end zone.
Coney on the tackle, number 31.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if I can pick up anything wireless. I don't see it. Third down, we'll call it 7. Football near the 7. Get across the 13, you got a first. Anything before that, it's 4th. Miller on the keeper. And Miller's got the first. Near the 20 to the 19 goes Miller.
Central Georgia with a first down.
Quarterback draw. Unanticipated by the Bulldogs.
Coney again on that tackle, number 31.
And I think Phillips, I make that Miller hurt. Picked up the first, went to the turf at the 19.
The player appears to be Nathan Miller, number 8.
Went back to the huddle and dropped to his back. Injury on the field. We will be back.
The final episode of the Pest Control Guys. It's the competition that could win them the biggest contract of their life for Karen Moneybags. You won't believe what happens when we let the guys inside the house. It's 3 guys up for 1 contract. Only one can say, I do accept the contract. Next on the Pest Control Guys. Sponsored by Bughouse Pest Control. Protect your house with Bughouse.
Well, there is Nathan Miller. And he is being aided to the sidelines. Coming into the ball game is Ian Finkley.
19-yard line, Central Georgia.
Finkley, wasn't that the guy that, missed that all-important field goal in the original Pet Detective? Okay, you have to be maybe not real old.
Maybe 4 or 5 yards.
But the Jim Carrey movie with Dan Marino in it. Wasn't it Finkley that missed the kick? Well, there's no kinship because that was a fictional player anyway. Finkley at quarterback with the injury to Miller. Miller coming off the field. And it is a 2nd down and 5. Hand off to Thomas, and Thomas fighting his way to the 26. Got a couple of yards.
31.
That might be the last play of the quarter. Clock winding down. Doesn't look like the Titans are going to get another play off. And we have, in 3-2-1, officially put an end to quarter number 1.
Miller back in the game for Central Georgia.
Sun trying to come out. Of course, that's what we say, right, when the sun is trying to peep from behind the clouds. Sun's out. Maybe the clouds are trying to part. It's gotten a little brighter. Rain has stopped, and that is Miller back into the ball game. So apparently that injury, not significant. Wow, it might be now, though. Let's hope he gets up and is okay. But boy, did he take a shot in the backfield.
Aiden Benton,
And
number
he's
90.
like, this is what I got back into the game for. Hammered to the turf, lost him a couple. And it'll bring up a 4th down in a punting situation.
4th down for Central Georgia.
And Phillips trotting onto the field and received the kick. Gutierrez ready to kick it away.
Keenan Phillips back to receive the punt. Josh Gutierrez.
And I think we've got a timeout. Bulldogs didn't have the right personnel.
GMC. That's their first of the
So they'll ask for time and we'll break 2. Just about a minute into quarter number 2. Gutierrez ready to put it away, and there's a penalty flag. And there's the second penalty flag.
false start. Offense.
False start. Charge to the Titans, and they will walk back another 5. And Gutierrez will now stand in his own end zone. Phillips will step up to the 42. To return the kick should be excellent field position for Georgia Military. Gutierrez, not a bad kick though. Phillips back to the 44 to return. 40, 35. He does a little balancing act along the sidelines.
Keenan Phillips on the carry.
And it will indeed be excellent field position for the Bulldogs. Had something happen the last offensive series for the Bulldogs that had not happened in this game prior.
About their 29-yard line.
And that was no 6 points at the end of the drive. Cole Schneider, though, with a big kick. And really, Schneider, despite the fact that kick has been 4 or 5 plays ago, it has played a big role in where the Bulldogs are currently. At the 29. Well, that's a little flea flickering.
Little pitch out there to Lee Niles.
Well, it almost looked like a forward pass. But no flag, so apparently legal. Bulldogs to the 21-yard line in the backfield. That is Trayvon Kinchin now. Beside his quarterback, Brown. Gain of 8 on that first down flea flicker. Kitchen on the carry inside the 20.
Kitchen on the carry.
And he'll get down to near the 16.
It's up close to the 15-yard line.
And it will bring up a first down and 10.
First down from the 18-yard line.
Kitchen again on the carry. He will burst it inside the 15 down to near the 10.
Kitchen. Ball carry.
Big gain on a first down play. Gain of 8 brings up a 2nd down and 2. Brown, his first carry of the football game. He will be very close to a first, and now the officials say it is. 1st and goal. Right back to the line of scrimmage will go Kinchin. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and goal. Still got the chains on the far sidelines up, but I think that's, somewhere in a prop because those are irrelevant. 2nd and goal, football at the 6. And Kinchin may have actually lost a yard on the play. Launch towards the end zone. It's right on the money. Touchdown. Joshua Okele able to bring in the 6-yard touchdown toss from Brown, and Brown with a couple of TDs already in the ballgame. This one happens at the 11:02 mark. In quarter number 2, Perez trying to tack on the extra point. He will. Bulldogs with a 4 TD lead. Two TDs on the ground, 1 through the air. It is a 28-zip ball game. Georgia Military College on the return, able to break it to the outside. That is Grant, and Grant will get good return yardage. Out to the 40-yard line where it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Titans.
Grant gets up to the 39-yard line.
Okay, off the top of my head, what's left? Lackawanna.
1st and 10.
You have still got Lewisburg. You've still got Lackawanna again. Snow, Andrew College. Middle Georgia. Probably missing somebody. Miller in the backfield, back into the ballgame after the injury that forced him out for a couple of plays. Finkley came in.
Incomplete, intended for 17. Vernon.
And that's an incomplete pass. Brian
Second
Bacon
down for Central Georgia.
was the intended target. Ominous looking clouds on the horizon, but for the moment, immediately over Davenport Field. Doesn't look particularly shabby. Handoff given up the middle.
Attention cadets, if you're interested in earning your bachelor's degree,
That is Caballero on the carry, and
Office of Military Admissions and talk to Austin Bettinger.
it's an injured Miles Flowers, slow getting up, but at least at the moment staying in the ball game.
Learn how to take advantage of a great opportunity. Austin Bettinger.
At halftime, a conversation with Dave Elder. Also, in about 9 minutes, volleyball gets underway in Brewton, Alabama, Coastal North, and John Melvin University. Miller rolling out, lobs it downfield, incomplete.
Incomplete, intended for
Guyton.
Number 17.
And it is 4th down and 9.
Jordan Turner back
And another punting situation. Gutierrez coming onto the turf. And let's see which of the multiple return guys the Bulldogs will use. It looks like Phillips back out again.
Keenan Phillips back deep for the Dogs. Number 8.
Gutierrez was floated back, but still able to get a kickoff. Line drive shot takes a Central Georgia Tech roll, and it will be the 22.
22, that's where the Bulldogs will
Where the Bulldogs will take over, first down at 10. Speaking of volleyball, coming up next week, you got a Monday of volleyball, Coastal Alabama North and South.
It's a great place to go after the game, get you some.
Jones against Coastal North. That is a 5 p.m. start, and it is Northeast Mississippi taking on Coastal South again, a 5 o'clock start. Wednesday, Coastal North, Coastal South volleyball. Thursday, Coastal North, Pensacola Christian. Handoff given up the middle. Gain of maybe a yard on the carry, and when the pile of humanity clears, we'll see who is carrying the football.
Picked up a couple of yards. 2nd and 8.
That is going to be Kitchen, and
For
Kitchen
the Dogs.
lost his headgear, so he's coming off the field.
Closer to 9, but 2nd down.
And Phillips will go back in. Next Friday, Flomaton and Bayside Academy football, and then, of course, Saturday. We're back here. Caught by Johnson to the 29. And he will make his way to the 31-yard line.
Keith Johnson, number 12.
About a yard shy of a first. 2nd and very short, I think. But it is so short it could be a first. Nope, the officials say it's about the length of a football shot. Nope, they say it is a first.
On the 32-yard line.
And then next Saturday, a couple of college football games. Georgia Military College and Lackawanna, Point University and Allen University, all right here on JockJive. Have I mentioned? I don't think I have yet. How can I forget this? Subscribing to our YouTube channel. That is Phillips, who will be shoved out of bounds near the 42.
About the 42.
I think it was last night we hit our goal of 5,000. And you may be like, well, that's great. Now we don't have to worry about any additional subscribers. Well, not exactly.
Another Bulldog first down on the 42-yard line.
We're now shooting for 6,000. So, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Handoff on the middle. Big burst. Phillips loses the football. Then he get back on it at the 38.
Ooh, that was close right there. Recovered his own fumble. Now we're inside the 40.
Big burst, and Phillips coming to the sideline shaking the head, but at least he dropped back on it.
Inside the 40.
And not a lost fumble. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. Here's what you get access to. Not just game coverage, but the conversations. As Brown will drop back to pass fire long, and it is incomplete. That is the first Brown incompletion of the game.
Intended for Trenton Smith.
Trying to get into Smith.
Second down.
So that means you have access to Greg Zacca, who was our first week guest, Ashley Bond, who was the week 2 guest, Leland Reddy, week 3. And I'll go ahead and tell you, if you want to know what Dave Elner says at halftime, it's already on YouTube. That and more. Pass is caught by Kinchin, and he will be out of bounds at the 21.
Out of the backfield, Trey Kinchin, number 2. Moving those chains.
First down for the Bulldogs, football at the 23.
Line of Central Georgia.
Kinchin in the backfield. Give going to Kinchin, and Kinchin will pound his way near the 15-yard line.
Kinchin is 5 feet 10 and weighs 227 pounds.
Second and a couple. Pass caught. Johnson, did his knees ever touch the turf? He didn't think so, but the official did. So a complete pass, but Johnson not able to break free and head to the end zone.
First and 10 for the Bulldogs.
What else have we got for you on YouTube? Neat little story coming out of Alabama where a runner basically ran the wrong way in a long-distance meet, but it was for a purpose. To help an injured opponent. Brown drop back at the 23.
Number 80, Jeremiah Jackson for Central Georgia.
So Jalen Brown sacked.
Pushed us back to the
As we get inside, 5 to play
Second down.
in the quarter. 3 first quarter scores, 1 in the second thus far. Brown to pass. Fires it towards the end zone. It is perfect again.
Number 19,
Smith on the reception.
Trenton Smith.
23-yard touchdown strike. Well, wait a minute. I don't see a flag, but apparently there is one. Or he was out of bounds when he made the catch.
Brown, quarterback.
And I am guessing that's what happened.
Well thrown.
Jones coming in and Kinchin coming out.
Third down for the Dogs.
So it is a third down and not a touchdown. Line of scrimmage, the 22. Brown to pass. Looking. Fires. And a little bit tall for his intended target, Jones. And probably out of bounds as well.
Down for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it'll bring up a fourth down. And will we get the first field goal try of the year for Perez, who's been perfect on PATs? I thought he had kicked a field goal in the Jive Prep game. Went back and looked at the box score. He hadn't. So this is his first try of the season, and it will be from 38 yards out. Trying to get this one over the 30-point mark. The Perez kick. Got a penalty flag. It splits the uprights.
Flag on the play.
But there is a flag, so
Hold
let's see,
your
do
fire
they
over there. Hold your fire.
take the infraction if they've got that option? Or do you take the field goal? And at the moment it looks like they will take the field goal. Rob Manchester going, okay, give me all the parameters before I make the ultimate decision. And he's made the decision, and here's the official to say
Personal foul, leaping.
what we're going to do.
on the defense. First down.
They take the penalty, scratch the points off the board. Because it will be an automatic first down. Well, there's one fella on the field that is a little disappointed. That is Perez. Perez, his first opportunity for a field goal, boots it through from 37 yards away. And lo and behold, you got a personal foul charged to the Titans and the 3 erased. So you're just back to perfect in PATs without a field goal 3.5 games into the season. Brown and company back on the turf. Kitchen in the backfield as well. Mitchell in motion. Give goes to Kitchen. And Kitchen will battle his way inside the 10, near the 5.
The first down carry from about the 12, and he picked up about 6 yards.
Bulldogs can get a first without scoring. They would have to get it inside the 2.
Second down, about 4.
Kitchen again on the carry. This one into the end zone for the touchdown.
Kitchen with the touchdown. Number 2. Hampton, Georgia's pride and joy, Trey Kitchen.
So 6 on the board. On the roughly 3-yard touchdown run at the 3:50 mark. And for Kitchen, that's touchdown number 4 on the year.
Perez
Extra
with the
point good.
after.
.35 lead, Georgia Military College, the number 2 team in the country in points scored per outing. They are averaging 50 a game. The only team averaging more is Snow, and Snow averaging 62. And Georgia Military now with 35
looks like
first half points.
25-yard line. We got
As the skies darken again here in Georgia. I don't know if that means a little precipitation is coming. I guess I can check the iPhone weather app, which is typically wrong. It says no rain until 4, and at 4, a 30% chance.
He's a good one.
So considering how often it's wrong, it'll probably rain. That's what I found with my weather app. Calls for rain, it doesn't. Says it won't, it does. Back into the ball game, Finkley at quarterback. On the quarterback draw, and he'll be dropped to the 20.
Creighton Horst, 32.
Loss of 5 on the play brings up a 2nd and 15.
On the tackle. 6'1", 259.
And there was a timeout. It is asked for by Central Georgia Tech.
Central Georgia Tech.
3 minutes, 16 seconds left to play in half number one. Georgia Military by 35.
Everyone can start here.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic excellence.
Finkley running for his life. He'll be pounded out of bounds at the 25-yard line as we get back to the action coming out of the Titan timeout.
On the carry, number 14 for Central Georgia. Third and about 11.
So it'll bring up a third down and 11. Got a couple of receivers to this side in Franklin and Bacon. Couple of receivers to the opposite side as well. And Finkley to pass. Drops back, looks, fires. It's incomplete. Intended for Fugerson. And the incomplete pass will bring up a third down and 11. Well, I mentioned the forecast says a 30% chance to rain at 4. Nothing until then. But you know how here in the Deep South you can gotta get a feel for what's coming. It's gotta, man, it's gonna rain feel to it right now. I mentioned I was doing football last night in Monroeville, Alabama, and it just poured in the second half. Did a game a couple of years ago in Lakeland, and they had called the game off in the second half. Got a delay of game, 5-yard mark off. It rained, it lightened.
Amari Dindy back to receive for the Bulldogs, number 13.
Or would that be lightning? Can you past tense lightning? I think you can. Gutierrez to kick. Return of the kick and then falling down at the 33-yard line.
33-yard
That is Jamar Dindy, I believe. Again, there's a couple of 13s. There's Dindy offensively, Baker defensively.
Dug his cleats into that Ken Franks turf out there. Pretty nice field. Ken Franks and company work on it year round.
First down and 10, football to the 33. Inside 3 to play, half number 1. Evans, a late exit off the field. Brown on the keeper. And he will get back to the line of scrimmage, not a whole lot more. Second down and 10. Brown passing. And it is incomplete. Johnson, the intended target.
Intended for Johnson, number 12.
Hey, by the way, we have added another team to our spring baseball and softball coverage. Good to have LBW, Lurleen B. Wallace Community College, on our schedule. I think the season starts late January, early February, so giving you a couple of months advance notice. On a third down and 10, got to get to the 43 to pick up the first. Brown to pass. Fires. It was a needle and a teeny tiny open window, but he delivers. And able to hang on is Lee Niles. And there is an injured Titan.
Officials timeout.
Lee Niles on the reception. You got an injured player down around the 35-yard line.
So an injured player on the coverage. That was one of the DBs that was around Niles when he made the catch. With the injury, let's pause and come back.
The pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. Since 1879, we have transformed students into effective leaders and engaged citizens, grounded in civility and respect for others. Whether you want a traditional college experience, something closer to home, or education online that suits your schedule, Georgia Military College is committed to helping you succeed. Start here. Go anywhere.
Well, good to see the injured Titan up. That is Nicholas Benton. Well, let's hope his prognosis is like Miller. Miller was helped off the field and then
get the number, but looks like he's going to be okay. Looks like it might be number
was
4.
able to get back onto the turf.
Benton Nicholas.
So Nicholas Benton.
Nicholas Benton, number 4.
Helped to the
He's
sidelines.
going to be all right. This is a rough sport.
First down, 10. Brown flushed out of the pocket. Looked like he might avoid one would-be tackler, but not all of them.
Jordan Farrell, number 22, on the tackle.
Sack of Brown, timeout on the field, and it's the 2-minute warning. And we don't call it 2-minute warning, apparently. We just call it the 2-minute timeout. I'm not sure about the logic for the verbiage. All I know is that we're 120 seconds from halftime.
Invite you to stick around for that.
Two minutes away from halftime, a second down and 15 after the sack of Brown. Sets up the screen. Off to the races. And into the end zone. Traquan Jones. Once on the ground, this one through the air. And the Bulldogs surpassed 40 before halftime. So Jones, a 39-yard touchdown pass. .150 to play in the second.
Awesome.
Extra point kick, good.
Freddie Perez with the point after, number 37.
That'll be booted into and out of the end zone. And now you got a flag on the play, and that was called for, I am assuming, a late hit. It was Philip Baines who said, man, I got level. How about a flag? They come in, and let's see if that's what the call is.
During the kick, block below the waist on the return team, the half the distance to the goal, first down.
So the mark-off will go against the Titans. 75-zip winners over River City Prep, 28-7 over the PC Bandits. But here, just a couple of minutes shy of halftime, it is the Bulldogs with a 42-zip score. Bulldogs 74 against Shimer Prep. Put 41 on the board against Iowa Western and 35 against Tyler. So a high-powered offense. And the bulk of the yardage picked up on the ground, though typically that be the case today. There have been a number of touchdown passes for Brown. Let's see, Brown with 1, 2,
Ryan Conaway, 91, and Aiden Benton
3 touchdown passes.
for the Bulldogs.
And I believe the Bulldogs called time.
GMC.
Yep, they want that ball back.
Second down.
Well, the Bulldogs like, well, we've got them, let's use them. And it is a second down and 15. And there is movement, illegal procedure. I believe that is Giante Tolbridge.
Full start.
Now in the backfield is the
Number
QB.
7. Oh, second down.
Half the distance to the goal after the false start. Back to the 4, where it is second down and right at 20. So Central Georgia Tech has used 3 quarterbacks, Miller, Finkley, and now Tolbridge.
Timeout.
Little extracurricular discussions. The Marion Grant
Timeout of the half.
carrying the football. It is
Several
third
Bulldogs
down.
in that last tackle.
And the Bulldogs again will use up their last timeout. Trying to get that football back one more time before the first 30 minutes of action expires.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship-trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic excellence.
Third down and plenty. And I've given up the middle, and again, it's ground on the carry, and again, not a whole lot of running room. Bulldogs can't stop the clock this time. And the Titans will likely let as much time run off the first half clock as possible before putting Gutierrez on the field to kick. The Bulldogs should wind up with excellent field position. Well, right now it doesn't look like Gutierrez is going to kick on a 4th down and 20. As we get inside a minute to play, 4th down, we'll call it 14. They got to get to the 23-yard line to pick up the first. If you don't convert, you are basically handing it to the Dogs. Tolbridge will call a timeout. And that apparently just stayed. Ploy, the plan was to boot the ball away by Gutierrez all along.
The final episode of the Pest Control Guys. It's the competition that could win them the biggest contract of their life for Karen Moneybags. You won't believe what happens when we let the guys inside the house. It's 3 guys up for 1 contract. Only one can say, I do accept the contract. Next on the Pest Control Guys. Sponsored by Bughouse Pest Control. Protect your house with Bughouse.
Over the head of Gutierrez, he will let it go out the backside of the end zone. Safety, Georgia Military College's defense. Picking up points and giving the ball after a kick back over to the offense with a little less than 38 seconds to play in the half.
Stick around for halftime.
44-zip lead.
People we want to introduce.
A reminder as well
Here in Baldwin County.
to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You want to watch this game later, then subscribe to our premium channel. $25 gives you a year's worth of access to any and everything on the site. For a year, by the way. And unlimited downloads. So if you want to watch football, basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball, it is all there. On the kick is Nathan Gardner. After the safety on the muffed punt attempt. Phillips from the 22. Got running room to this side, midfield. And then he is slammed out of bounds by Brandon Moss.
Manny Moss
30 seconds to play in the half, and the Bulldogs will be inside the 40. Check that, just outside the 40.
First down, Dogs on the 42-yard line of Central Georgia.
No timeouts, so let's see what the Bulldogs have planned for the final half minute of the half with nary a timeout. 44-zip score, but obviously they wanted the football pack, wanted to put a few more points on the board before going into the locker room at halftime, so let's see what the plan is here at the 42. Brown taking the snap, drops back to pass, looks. He will fire, and incomplete. Toss intended for Tarver. Eight of 6 seconds. And it is a 2nd and 10. Second down, 10. Brown again to pass. Flushed out of the pocket. Looks. Got a receiver open. Catch will be made by Smith, and he will scamper to the sidelines to stop the clock.
Trenton Smith, 19,
with 16 seconds remaining.
Left in the first half.
Dave Elner coming up at halftime. We'll also look at the first half scores and see if we can find out anything else going on in the NJCAA. I know there was Thursday night football in Mississippi, so we've at least got that. Brown steps up, fires, and it is caught! Touchdown number 4 from Brown. This one to Smith.
Trenton Smith, 19. From Jalen
4
Brown,
touchdown passes in the first half for Jalen Brown.
Jalen Brown, number 10.
That one covering 33 yards. Extra point kick, good.
Austin Perez.
Bulldogs halfway to 100.
The final episode of the Pest Control Guys. It's the competition that could win them the biggest contract of their life for Karen Moneybags. You won't believe what happens when we let the guys inside the house. It's 3 guys up for 1 contract. Only one can say, I do accept the contract. Next on the Pest Control Guys. Sponsored by Bughouse Pest Control. Protect your house with Bughouse.
9 seconds left to play in half number 1, and Georgia Military, a little pooch kick. And that will go out of bounds. And there is a flag, and that is for the fact that it went out of bounds, I believe. Do have a Titan slow getting up. And now apparently okay, that is Rory Thomas. So the football should be marked at the 35, and that's where it will be a 1st and 10. Apparently it didn't touch anybody. None of the time clicked off the clock. So if you want, maybe 2 plays. If you prefer, maybe just a single one. We'll see. Tallbridge at QB. He will hand to Grant, and Grant finding running room to the opposite side. They're going to keep him inbounds, and that'll do it for half number 1.
Marion Grant on the carry. That ends the first half.
So it is halftime, and at the half, Georgia Military, an impressive lead, averaging 50 a game and have 51 in the first couple of quarters. I mentioned our halftime guest, Dave Elner, the commissioner of the GCAA, but when we come back, I almost ran out of ink, but I think I can run through all the scores that happened in the first 30 minutes of football here. We'll do that when we return. Georgia Military by 51 at the half.
Georgia Military College provides opportunities to learn, to grow, to lead. The GMC Corps of Cadets will help you build a foundation to start your journey to success. As one of 4 military junior colleges in the nation, GMC provides character-based education, state-of-the-art facilities, physical training, leadership, history, and tradition. Be the leader that makes a difference. Start here. Go anywhere.
It is halftime of the half of 51-zip. Georgia Military College lead the scoring started early, 12:32 to go in the first. It was Smith, a 33-yard touchdown pass from Brown. His first toss of the game. He threw 4 in the first half. Phillips, a 6-yard touchdown run at the 8:51 mark in quarter number 1. And then Jones on a 36-yard TD run at the 7:23 mark. And by the end of one, it was 21-zip Bulldogs. 11:02 to go in the second. Brown, his second touchdown strike of the game, is to Okale, covering 6 yards, 3:50 to play in the stanza. And it was a Kinston 3-yard touchdown run.
Draw your attention to the game.
A minute 50 to play in the half. 39-yard touchdown pass to Jones from Brown, and then Brown finding Smith again, this time from 33 yards out with 9 seconds left to play in the half. And Perez, perfect on every extra point kick. And don't forget,
with us today, Andrew
safety
Strickland, flight
into the mix as well. A muffed punt attempt by Central Georgia Tech, and Georgia Military with 2 from their defense. Halftime, 51-zip. Number 9 ranked Georgia Military College. Dave Elder, the commissioner of the GCAA, coming up. I always enjoy our conversations with Dave Elder, the commissioner of the GCAA. Dave, how you doing?
Hey, it's not Monday. That's one thing.
That's right. But is it any different than a Monday?
So far, yes. Yesterday was one of those days, so we'll see. But life's good, man. Can't complain.
We're recording this on a Tuesday. You got all of Tuesday left, so who knows? It could become a Monday before Tuesday's done. But we are delighted to have you with us. And, we're going to talk about a variety of sports, but we might as well, since we're in halftime of a football game, talk about football. There's a new conference in town, the GCAA. Well, not the conference new, but the fact that there is kind of a football conference with Andrew College and Central Georgia Tech involved. And, of course, this game today is Central Georgia Tech and Georgia Military. I like it. Is there more GCAA football coming?
I don't know. We've got any more coming right yet. The only one that possibly could come in, Gordon could move their team from club status up, but no word that they're doing that at this point in time. We haven't had football outside of Georgia Military since the early 2000s, and that's when Middle Georgia had a team. And they had a team for a couple of years, and then did away with their football program. So it's been just Georgia Military as our lone football program, and they've run as an independent. Now they're still, all our schools are still listed as independents. I guess we really probably need to look at that from a national perspective and say if Central Georgia Tech and Andrew do stick around, then we've got the GCAA Football Conference. So we'll see how everything does. It's Central Georgia Tech and Andrew are stepping up. Andrew, brand new. Central Georgia Tech moving from club status. So it's going to be interesting. Both of those two new teams got their first victories last week.
So all of the Georgia teams win last week. GMC wins, Central Georgia Tech wins, Andrew College wins. That's a win-win for the GCAA, I would think. I mean, there is some additional publicity involved, too, when you've got more football programs.
Well, it's not only that, the schools, it helps their enrollment. You're adding probably 100-plus kids onto your campus. So there's that enrollment kicker right there. And, I think we'll see how Central Georgia Tech and Andrew are getting their feet wet right now. I think for them, their schedules are pretty much loaded with prep schools, and they're trying to get it going, get it moving in the right direction, get everything clicking on all cylinders, so to speak. Georgia Military, hey, this is nothing new for them. This, you cover them every week, which we're so appreciative of. I mean, you just came back from Tyler, Texas when they put together a 35-10 victory right there.
As a matter of fact, behind at halftime, and then they poured it on in the second half. Some great football from GMC a week ago, and obviously we are hoping for the same this week. All right, you said if they do stick around, in referencing Central Georgia Tech and Andrew College, does that mean this is kind of an experimental probationary period?
I wouldn't say that's an experimental probationary period, but we all know football is very expensive to run. It's not cheap. And that's one reason why Middle Georgia did away with it. They were still paying for football several years later. Now the operations of it have sort of changed a little bit. A lot of schools are really requiring a lot more out of the students as far as financially to cover. So we'll see how it does. But we're excited to have them at this point.
If it does become a conference that declares a champion, what is the process that would be different then as compared to now?
They're playing each other once. I really would like to see them play each other twice. I don't know that that'll happen. We'll see at that point. I'm serving this year on the football committee. So you know as well as I do over the years with all of our sports, who you play matters. And if you're playing NJCAA schools, whether it be Division I or Division III, they're going to look at that a little more favorable than if you're playing at a prep school. So, I got a feeling next year both Andrew and Central Georgia Tech will probably have a little stronger schedule.
Can you give us a little insight into how this came to be? Because it really kind of seemingly, from at least an outside observer's perspective, kind of snuck up on us. We didn't know it was going to happen. And then all of a sudden there are two more football programs.
Well, we've been talking about it, but, a lot of times until it's a done deal, until the ink's dried, so to speak, on schools really pulling the trigger and backing and supporting, you just don't want to say, hey, we're going to have football, and then you don't have football. So we pretty much waited till that was a definitive, and I think our schools see the importance of playing in JCAA as opposed to just club.
All right, let's talk about the conference. One school out, that is ABAC. They have now become an NAIA school. So we have seen over the course of the last decade or so, and we've talked about this before, kind of a downsizing in the conference. What do you see in the next couple of years from an overall conference perspective?
Well, ABAC was one of our long-standing members. They've been around 30-plus years. And there's always a dynamic change, Robert. We saw back in the 80s where Georgia and Alabama were together as one conference. Georgia grew, Alabama grew. So those two were split nationally. 5-6 years ago, we were up to 20, maybe it's a little longer than that, 8 years ago. We were up to 22 schools. And then we had mergers. Some schools dropped programs financially from the athletic standpoint. They just dropped the programs. So the one thing that we can't do, we can't create schools. So, and then we're also, we have we have 4 members that are of the TCSG, the Technical College System of Georgia. Then the other ones are from the USG, the university system. And then we have a couple of privates. So, we can't go out and create schools. The technical school, their mission is really workforce readiness. Most of them do not have facilities for athletics. As being covering South Georgia Tech in basketball, they created an old plane hangar into a really nice basketball facility. And so most of them don't have those facilities, and those type of things come into play when you're looking at starting athletics. And so if you don't have facilities, that makes it that much harder to have programs. You're dependent upon other people besides yourself. If you do things like that, you better have a contract in place, because that other outside entity could yank the carpet right out underneath your feet at the very last moment. And so there's a lot. You want to be in control of your athletic program, not someone else. And so that's where I don't see our technical schools. A lot of them are not just, and there's nothing wrong with that. They just don't see it as part of their mission. And some that have, and they wanted to do it, but they really didn't jump into the deep water with it. So that's where we lost some of those. Of course, we lost some of our USG schools through consolidation. The financial aspect. If collegiate in academia, if schools' budgets are being cut, then they're looking at everywhere to cut those. And athletics is not exempt from that. So we look at that, we just say, okay, cuts are coming from the state. And so we sit there and say, okay, can we make it through this? And you get to a point where it says, okay, we're working on bare bones right now. And would I love for us to have unlimited schools and unlimited budgets? Yes. But you also got to look at the financial aspect of that. And we have some schools that are sharing services. And so, I don't know where we're going. And then a lot of it is dependent upon the university system of Georgia. They can make a decision, which, there's nothing that from our end that we can do. And we just got to go along and adapt to that.
You mentioned the fact that Georgia and Alabama in the 80s were a combined region, and that's not totally uncommon. Currently, you've got a Region 23 with Louisiana and Mississippi. Mm-hmm. Do you see maybe a Georgia and South Carolina, because South Carolina is kind of a small region as well? Is that something that could happen in the future?
Well, South Carolina is part of Region 10, which is South Carolina, North Carolina, and the Virginias. We've had discussions, and then it talked about it one time. We had a Zoom meeting. And, what they pay for their region dues and what our schools pay are completely different. And, didn't want to look at that aspect of that. So you can't force regions to do that. But then again, if a region gets to low numbers, then, national office might have to look at pairing us back up with somebody. Is South Carolina better fit? Is going back to Alabama fit? At this point, we're fine with 11 schools. I think if we were to get down to 6, I think, something like that would probably happen.
Let's talk about championships quickly. And I know the ones that were involved in basketball, softball, baseball. Basketball, it always happens at the highest remaining seed after the quarterfinals. The softball is going back to Solid Rock. I learned, and I'm assuming it is now common knowledge where baseball is going. Is that correct?
Yes, baseball's ABAC, even though they've left, they put in a bid to host the tournament, and the coaches voted to have it there. So we'll be having baseball at ABAC, softball back at Strong Rock outside of McDonough there. And we've been at Strong Rock for a number of years. Last year, both baseball and softball were at Georgia Highlands at their new facility.
Isn't softball following a little different format, though? More teams involved this year?
Everybody's going. They're going to have an opening day there where that way the teams that play, they can here's the thing. You can go into opening day and get beat day one, and you've paid basically your hotel and never used it. You wasted that money. So we're trying to set it up where they're there and at least that is being utilized.
Is there a change in the format for baseball?
No.
All right, so it will remain the same. Lastly, in our last few moments, maybe it is way too early to even tie larger crowds with anything going on nationally, but I've noticed Georgia Military College, the first 2 football games, big crowds. Tyler, last Saturday, big crowd. I knew some JUCO volleyball. They have had much larger crowds to the start of this year. Is there something going on where at the D1 level, you now got professional athletes basically playing football because a lot of them are making some money off what they do? Is it way too early to tie any correlation between these larger crowds and maybe fans wanting that more organic passion for the game player?
Been doing this for 25 years, and I can't really say that one is necessarily tied to the other. I mean, you sit there and look, wife just retired from UGA, and this is her last year's season tickets. And I just noticed where season ticket prices were going up for everybody else. Do these big colleges price themselves out at some point? No, because the people are tied into that diehards. They're gonna come up with the money somehow. Is it something that people just say, "Hey, I want to see the lower level collegiate athletics"? They feel like it might be a little more pure. That's possible. Are the communities maybe trying to pull their community in a little bit more? That's possible. But I can't see any correlation one way or the other.
Dave Elner, always good talking with you. We will chat again soon, I am sure. And thank you for being our guest at halftime.
Thanks, Robert. And go Dogs. Go Central Georgia Tech. I got to say them both this year. Go Andrew.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you next time.
The pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. Since 1879, we have transformed students into effective leaders and engaged citizens, grounded in civility and respect for others. Whether you want a traditional college experience, something closer to home, or education online that suits your schedule, Georgia Military College is committed to helping you succeed. Start here. Go anywhere.
It is halftime. There you see the score, 51-zip, Georgia Military College. Taking a look at other scores, starting with Thursday night in Mississippi. Holmes knocks off Kahoma, 42-23. Copiah Lincoln over Hines, 48-zip. Mississippi Gulf Coast defeating Jones, 27-20. Pearl River, a 27-17 winner over Southwest Mississippi. East Central beats Itawamba, 20-9. One game yesterday, Army Prep, 14-3 over Nassau. Games this afternoon. Iowa Central, 18 seconds away from halftime, leading Hutch, 14-6. Dodge City with 2:36 to play in the first half. A 9-6 lead over Iowa Western. Butler over Independence, 7-zip with all of the second stanza to go. And that is it for games finished and games ongoing. Big thank you to the folks that are making our coverage possible, like CBiz, as well as Enos Legal, the Pickle Barrel, Coca-Cola, Bughouse, Ortho of Georgia, and obviously Georgia Military College. A reminder, 1 week from today, Right back here, Bulldogs and Lackawanna. Should be a dandy matchup, and we'll have the coverage for you. Second half action, 30 seconds away.
Missy back there, number 25.
We head into corner number 3 in a 51-zip ball game. You see something different attached to the scoreboard. If you've watched 3 games prior or 1 game prior, 2 games prior, you probably know the process. It's the third quarter, and we're going to take your shout-outs at 334-488-1385. For newcomers, here's how it works. You text it. Would love to talk. Typically get a call or two, but can't. I know you'd prefer it, right? You're like, hey, just answer the phone, shut up on air, run camera. Yeah, but they hire me to do a little talking. So if you'll text me, 334-488-1385, 334-488-1385, I'll read it. It's kind of that in its simplest form. Not sure what the conversation is about over here. Rob Manchester in a conversation with the officials before we get play underway in half number 2. I don't know about a running clock. I know in high school football that's something that is a reality in junior college football. Not sure. And I think if it is available in junior college football, it's going to be something that both coaches would have to agree to. But we'll keep an eye on the clock to see if it runs nonstop in a 51-zip ball game. 334-488-1385. All right, shout-outs. Yep, I'm adding another task. I'm not a really good multitasker. Running your camera, little play-by-play, trying to keep some numbers. And here we go with your shout-outs, 334-488-1385. And what we're looking for in the shout-out is the return is out to the 32.
30-yard line.
And that's where we'll be 1st and 10, the first drive of the second half for Georgia Military. And a little finger pointing going on.
Brought him down.
I'm not one of those guys. Hey, there's folks that like that kind of stuff, and I know it happens on both sides of the field. I'm just kind of hey, play the game, and we'll tell you how good you are. You don't have to tell us. Off my soapbox, back to the shout-outs, 334-488-1385. 334-488-1385. Here's what we're looking for. Who's it to? Who is it from? And what's the shout-out? Across the 40, 45-yard line to midfield. Still on his feet. Jalen Brown. Tripped up eventually. Inside the 20. Boy, he just shred would-be tacklers.
That time from 61, Gabe Pierce.
Biggest play from scrimmage in the game for Brown and the season for Brown. And Georgia Military with a first down and 10 near the 15. And
Brown again on the carry.
And Brown again, this time to the 10.
10-yard line.
And it will be a first down and 5 after the 5-yard gain. Shout out to Jordan B.B. McCray from Keegan, Rudy, and ZP. Shout out to Jordan Turner, number 7, Georgia Military, from your dad.
Fitzgerald, Georgia.
Shout out says, let's go Titans. Shout out to my son, Akai Harvey, number 1, on Central Georgia Tech. Thank you very much for the shout out. Kitchens, he's into the end zone.
Trey Kitchen.
8 yards out, his second touchdown of the football game. And that was a quick, less than 90-second drive. And the final 8 yards will come from Kitchen. Perez to tack on the extra point. It is through the uprights. Shout-outs pouring in. Let's get to some. Shout-out to Keenan Phillips from the Marshalls in Climax, Georgia. Love our greats. Shout-out to Jakari Jones, number 5, from Monroe, Georgia, from Grandad. Shout-out to GMC Bulldog, number 14, Tanner Enos, from his sister Harper. Way to go, little brother, number 17, from your big sis, Shan Niles. Shout-out to GMC Bulldog, number 14, Tanner Enos, from Mimi. Shout out to number 8, Keenan Phillips from the Ramies in Monroe, Georgia, saying, "Go Dogs," as that is booted to the 5-yard line. On the return is Franklin, and he'll be stopped right about the 25, and that is where the Titans will set up shop for their first drive of half number 2 in a 58-zip ball game. 3 different quarterbacks used in the first half for Central Georgia Tech. Let's see who is at the helm. That is Tallbridge, who will start half number 2. Shout out to my guy and grandson, number 31, Jairus Coney, from Dunedin in Ohio. To the outside, that is Caballero, and Caballero, with a gain of right at 3, brings up a 2nd down and 7. Shout out to the GCAA in their mobile office in Lexington, Kentucky. Dave Elder, thanks very much. Are the Bulldogs playing in Lexington? I haven't checked. Got a feeling that might be it. Caballero, driven backwards, loses yardage.
Kalen Curry, 49. Augusta, Georgia.
And it will be a 3rd down, and if the down marker stays where it currently is, the 20, then they gave him his forward progress before being shoved backwards, and it'll be a 3rd and 13. Shout out to number 17, Lee Niles from Mama T. Like that catch. Yeah, it was a good one. Thanks, Mama T, for checking in. Tallbridge. Incomplete down the field. Intended target was Sandifer. And it'll bring up a 4th down and long in a punting situation.
Nico Sandifer.
All right, the shout-out says, hey, can you guys please shout out to our son, number 39, Christopher Watson, from North Carolina, from your parents and supporters. We love you, and you guys keep up the great work. Well, yes, we can. And we just did. Thank you very much for the shout-out. To number 72, Jacob Dima. Shout-out, doing great. Go Titans. From his girlfriend with a little heart emoji, formed by the hands. Gutierrez to boot it away. High kick. And Phillips trying to field it, couldn't. And it is going to be Central Georgia Tech football. And the guy that lost the helmet's the guy that grabbed it. He will gladly sit out of play for a fumble recovery. That is Pollock.
Central Georgia, 1st and 10.
And Central Georgia with their best field position of the football game at the 35 of the Bulldogs.
3-yard line.
Shout out to number 10, Jalen Brown from Palm Beach, Florida. Keep the energy up. Let's go. Love Peyton. Thanks, Peyton. Central Georgia Tech, go Jacob, number 72. Shout out number 40, GMC, Damari Jordan from your dad, Zeus. Shout out to Gabe Pierce. We're so proud of you from the Gray family. Over the middle with a pass, incomplete. There is a flag, and there apparently is an interference into the fray. I like that name Zeus, by the way. Why did my parents name me something cool like Zeus? I got some boring names. I talked to my parents about that, about my boring names, and it didn't seem to bother them. I mean, they didn't have like regrets or anything, but
Central Georgia, 1st and 10 from our.
I might just start going with the name Zeus. Shout out to Gary Green, number 45. Go Titans, says the shout out. After the penalty yardage, football at the 17, deepest penetration of the afternoon. Tolman's rolling out, and he will get inside the 15. Central Georgia Tech knocking on the door and trying to get rid of that goose egg.
Like Philip Baines ran him out of bounds.
Texting a shout out for Traquan Big Q Jones watching from Bartow, Florida. Keep grinding, keep eating. Love Big Cuz. Let's go number 24, the Titans. To his son, Giante Tolbridge, number 13 from Vanessa Mom with the blue heart emoji. And it is Tolbridge in the backfield in the quarterback draw. And he will get inside the 10 to the 8. And that is very close to a Titan first. It'll be 3rd and short. Jacob Dima, number 72. Go Titans. Love you, kid. From your other family. Go Dogs. Shout out to Lil Bro, number 6. Traquan Jones from Bartow, Florida. Hashtag Big Q. Kyrie Fuller, keep being great from a proud dad. We love you. Go Bulldogs. Well, it is a first down. And Tolbridge on the quarterback keeper, sandwiched near the line of scrimmage. Might have squeaked out a yard. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and goal. Goonies never say die. Go Titans from the Swim family in Warner Robins, Georgia. Shout out to Jordan McCray from your Lumber City family. Shout out to Jordan B.B. McCray from his Lumber City family again. He may have multiple Lumber City families. Caballero in the backfield. Tolbridge fires over the middle, incomplete, a little bit behind his intended target, Fugerson. And it will bring up a 3rd and goal. Shout out to Coach Leland Reddy from Ocean Isle Beach, North Carolina, the Ruffs and the Comptons. Shout out to my grandson, J.C. Coney, number 31 from Nana in Ohio. Go Dogs and the red heart emoji. Shout out to Jeremiah Jones. Let's go Titans. Shout out to Traquan Jones, number 6 from Mom. As that is lobbed towards the end zone, but I think the target, Sandifer, is going to be kept out.
Like that ball was called on about our 1.
Makes the catch near the 1, 4th and goal. Well, what do you think? Titans going to go for it? Yeah, I'm betting so.
4th down.
On 4th and goal from the 1. Let's go Titans. Shout out to Manny Moss, number 9, from Mom and Dad. Fourth down and goal from the 1-yard line. Tolbridge. And the play is stopped because of a whistle. Is it a flag? Nope, it is a timeout. And it will be charged to Central Georgia Tech. 9:09 to play. Quarter number 3. Bulldogs by 58.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship-trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia.
Tolbridge on the keeper, and he will be dropped before making the end zone near the 3. And a goal line defense by Georgia Military College denying Central Georgia Tech. And it will stay a 58-zip contest. About 98 yards away from pay dirt of the Dogs. Got a backlog on shoutouts. Let's get to some more. This one says, a shout out, we need replays for Jalen Brown throwing bombs. We do. Did I mention the multitasking? It's not a good excuse, right? I mean, it is only a mere button, but I'm trying to think of a better excuse. I've got a few replays. But 2, you've got the editing aspect on the fly. It's we need another guy here. That's what we need so we can get the replays and I can get your shout-outs. It is 1st and 10 from the 2. And there's a flag, and if that is a flag that's got you going the other way, half the distance to the goal, then is going to be not a big mark-off. Shout-out to Eshawn Arnold, number 21, from mom and dad and siblings. Shout-out to Ty Jones. Mommy loves you with a red heart emoji. Shout out to number 16, Davion Carter, Central Georgia, from your mom and sister. Brown up the middle. Get some breathing room out to the 10. Shout out to number 47, Darian Smith, from Deanna's Bridesmaids.
Just inside the 10 to the 9-yard line.
Let's go Dogs, playoff bound, keep it up. Football emoji, heart emoji, the black heart and the red heart. And there is an injured Bulldog. Looks like that's leg cramps. They are working on the calf. And it's the leg of Jalen Brown.
Looks like Brown's going to be okay.
So he's going to come off the field, and into the lineup will go Chris Phillips. Chris Phillips got some playing time, too, against Jaimer Prem.
16, Chris Phillips in at quarterback.
Hey, shout out to us. Hey, thank you very much. We appreciate you watching the game. I tell folks all the time, if you didn't watch it, you know, I like football, but what's the point? But you do, and we appreciate that. And thanks for the shout out. Second down, we'll call it 3. Young taking his first snap in about 3 weeks. And that is Traquan Jones, who will make his way to near the 30-yard line. That's definitely some breathing room for the Bulldogs.
Moving the chains. Bulldog first down.
And reminder, too, we do this in the 3rd, but you can do it all game long on YouTube. There are no limits. Feel free. Shout out to Amarian Grant from his girlfriend. Got the pink heart emoji and the hands shaping the heart. 3 of those. Number 27 of the Titans. 1st and 10, football at the 30. And Young not afraid to put it up. Incomplete pass. That was intended for Tarver.
Pass intended for
Phillips, I believe, completed one pass in the game against Jive Prep.
Bring up a 2nd and 10 for the Dogs.
Got a feeling that Young would have come into the ball game regardless. But Brown will take a little early exit with the calf cramps. He is walking on the sidelines, and that gait looks better. On a 2nd down and 10. Backing his way to the 37.
Traquan Jones up to about the 38.
That is Jones on the carry. And we'll turn it into a 3rd and relatively short 3rd and a couple. Shout out to the Jalen Flood, or to Jalen Flood. Number 1, GMC from your family. Shout out to Jordan B.B. McCray from McCray, Georgia. We're so proud of you and all your accomplishments. We love you. Reagan, Sherry, Gracie, Lauren, and the babies.
Jones on the carry.
Across the 40 to the 44-yard line goes Traquan Jones,
Bulldog first down, up past the 40 to the
who has scored twice, once on the ground, once through the air. Shout out to Yuri Calixte from the grandparents in Gordon, Georgia. Go Dogs. And the hand clap emoji. Jed Allen, Mama loves you. Go number 2.
Jonathan Navakas in 44.
I think my buddy JJ's watching the game. JJ Size texting saying he is watching. JJ, how you doing? Haven't talked to JJ lately. He helped me on a game or two at LBW. Pass is caught right on cue by Flood. I mean, we haven't seen Flood make a reception. He gets a text, and there's the catch. Maybe that's all that was missing.
First time we've heard from him today. He's
Eligible
usually pretty active
downfield
out here.
offense, number 44. He was
That's going to be nullified, though.
5-yard penalty, first down.
5-yard mark-off. So officially, Flood not in the books yet.
Flood out there, number 1.
But again, JJ, thanks for watching. I understand that the Andalusia Bulldogs, JJ's from Covington County, made a big comeback and won. He's a big Pleasant Home fan, though, and they lost to Florella. Florella's homecoming. But, JJ, if you'd been there, probably a different outcome. You could have been on the sidelines coaching the Eagles. 1st and 15, Young to pass. Has a receiver open in the flats, and that is caught by Navakas.
44.
And it'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. Shout out to number 45, Gary Green. Love Auntie Keisha. Shout out Eshawn Arnold, number 21. We love you, Mom and Dad.
44-yard line.
Go Big Bro, number 13, Giante Tolbridge. From your little sis and brother, Savannah and Henley. We love you with the blue heart emoji. Young to pass, flushed out of the pocket, able to get rid of that would-be tackler inside Central Georgia Tech territory, and Chris Young doing his best Jalen Brown imitation.
16.
Or Chip Cooper. Heck, we got QBs who can run. And it is a 1st down and 10 at the 38 of Central Georgia Tech. Snap of the football to Young, looking the field over. He will fire. Pass is caught by Flood, and Flood has got to be saying, what the heck, because a flag has been thrown. And this might be another Flood reception that is going to be nullified because of the penalty. There is a hold. Charge to the offense.
Hands to the face.
Offsetting.
98. Those penalties offset. Replay first down.
But it still denies Flood of a reception. So Flood's got to be like, yeah, that's 2 I caught. And don't have anything to show. Let's go, Jet. We know you're going to do big things this year for Mama Jet. Allen, number 2. To Gabe Pierce, number 61 from Nana and Papa, watching from Fitzgerald, Georgia. We love you. Shout out to my big little brother, number 1, Akai Harvey. Central Georgia Tech from your sister, Say. 4:03 to play. Quarter number 3, Young with a handoff.
Trey Kinchin on the carry.
And Kinchin will carry it to about the 35. Good to hear from JJ again. JJ, I'm doing fine, doing good. Hope you are as well. Shout out to Jordan Turner, number 7 on GMC from Grandma Betty. Shout out to the Gardner family watching online. Go Titans. Hey, I like it. We're not limited in shout outs to somebody here. You got somebody you know that is watching elsewhere. It's a good shout out. A little creativity spin to it. Jalen Brown back on the field. Handoff given to Kinchin, and Kinchin stopped near the 35.
Might have picked up a yard, but
It'll bring up a 3rd down and long.
36. 3rd down for the Bulldogs.
Shout out to Jed and Ty. Much love from Ante Keisha with the heart emoji. We love Max, number 76 from St. Simons, Georgia. Pass is caught.
Pass complete to O'Kelly.
And that is O'Kelly making the catch. Well, I thought we might see Perez. I mean, you're looking at the possibility of about a 47-yard field goal. But it looks like Cole Schneider instead will come on to boot it away. And there's a timeout on the field that is asked for by the Titans.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby. You got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before. You know it's true. And still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
Snyder ready to kick it away. Maybe you're not putting Perez on the field to kick a field goal of about 47-ish yards because you want that weapon to still be, hey, it's fake. Maybe that's why you're not putting Perez on the field. I believe that is Landon Vickers on the fake for the first, and it'll be 1st and goal. Make that 1st and 10. 25 yards away from Painter. Shout out to the backup quarterbacks for stepping up and dominating. Yeah, we've seen backup quarterbacks on both sides. Brown starting, but he's the backup to Cooper. And then, of course, Young coming into the game. And for Central Georgia Tech, the starter was Miller. But then you had Finkley come into the game and Tolbridge. So we've seen 5 different quarterbacks. Handoff given to Phillips.
Phillips on the carry.
And Phillips will get inside the 25. Still on his feet, pile of offensive and defensive linemen, and that pile is down to the 15. That was a rugby grudge match.
Keenan Phillips fights his way up to about the
Ball down to the 15, gain of 9.
16-yard line of Central Georgia.
46 seconds left to play in the third. Brown, who already has 4 touchdown strikes. That is incomplete. Shout out to Jalen Flood from Uncle Mike. Go Dogs. Shout out to Traquan Jones from your West family and Granny. Love you. Got the, kind of a smiley face, but with a hearts in the eyes emoji. Number 7, Kurt Clark. Let's go Bulldogs from Auntie Tammy. Shout out to the coaches at Central Tech. The football and heart emoji. Shout out to Jacob Demon, number 72. Love you, bud, Mom and Dad. That is Brown on the keeper. And he will be pounded to the turf, but we'll get enough for the first. And it'll be first down and 10. Shout out from Louisiana to John Michael Bro. Number 0 for the Titans.
First down inside the 15-yard line.
Well, the question, I don't know if this text was meant for me. It says, are you getting Eshawn Arnold shout-outs? I am. We did, but we'll do it again to Eshawn. We are heading to the 4th in a 58-zip game. You already see on the clock a difference in quarter number 4. It's a 12-minute quarter. So they have trimmed 3 minutes off the clock. Hey, thanks for all the shout-outs. Now, some did officially come in the 3rd that I haven't read yet, so I'm going to get to them. Shout-out to TJ Trent, number 19, from Mom and Sis. Shout-out Jet Ty and Woods. Much love from Auntie Felicia. Go Dogs with a heart emoji. And a new fellow on the field who would like to have 6'2", and he has got it. Touchdown, Derek Mincy.
Touchdown, Bulldogs.
$13-yard touchdown run. And it happens with 11:53 to play in the ball game. Perez trying to do it again. Got to believe that the pressure builds a little every time there's a kick because he hasn't missed. And still hasn't. Georgia Military, 65-zip lead. A little less than 12 to play in the game. And Perez will boot it down to the 4. And that's where the return begins. Across the 30. Bulldogs in hot pursuit across midfield and finally brought out of bounds. Near the 40-yard line. Big return and a late flag, and there might be a face mask tossed into the fray.
Flags on the play. Batista with a run back.
And if there is additional yardage, a good return gets better. Shout out to number 93, Tyquavius Holland, from your little cousins, AJ and KJ. Titans, y'all can do it. Number 13. Ty Jones, love pops. Shout out to JockJive Sports for the game. Thank you very much for the shout out. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yeah, good spot to toss that in. We can't get enough. Crossed 5,000 last night. Hey, let's go for 6 today. All right, maybe that's wishful thinking. 6 later on. Up the middle. Inside the 20 and slipping at the 18. That is another quarterback, Ian Finkley, who we saw briefly in the first half when Miller got injured. He came out of the game. Finkley came in for a few plays. Miller came back. Then Miller leaves, and Tolbridge comes in. And now you've got Finkley back at quarterback. Football at the 19. Handoff given to Thomas. And Thomas will stumble forward inside the 10. All right, a few more shout-outs. I'll get them wrapped up here in a minute. Congratulations, Jets and Lil Ray on the win from Big Sis. Go Dogs. Let's go Dogs. Number 55, your number 1 fan. And shout-out to Amari and Grant. Again, much love and support. Keep your head up. My love from your girlfriend with a heart emoji. And number 27 inside the 10 to the 8.
Ian Finkley on the carry.
Finkley carries, and Finkley slow getting up, but he will get up. Hey, thanks for all the shout-outs. Great to have you watching the game. Let's see, I did have a score from Bruton to pass along. Got volleyball going on. And it looks like Coastal North has knocked off John Melvin University in the first of a couple of matches today from Bruton, winning 25-14, 25-19, and 25-21 in the opening set, or match rather, and match number 2. Coming up, Jason Thompson on the call there. Pass is complete.
Number 8 on that stop. That will bring up a third down for.
And it'll bring up a third down.
Georgia.
Don't forget, a lot of volleyball coming up this week. Got some football, too. Volleyball on Monday, Northeast Mississippi and Coastal South. Jones and Coastal North. North and South, the two Coastals meet on Wednesday. Pensacola Christian and Coastal North on Thursday. Bayside Academy in Flomaton. That's a big high school matchup in Alabama. Happening on Friday, right back here on Saturday. Lackawanna and Georgia Military College, couple of ranked teams. Finkley aiming for the corner of the end zone, incomplete.
Pass incomplete. Big rush by those Bulldogs out there.
And also next Saturday, we will be in South Carolina. Allen University football taking on Point University. And that is all coming up this week here on JockJive. Clock stops on the incompletion, 8:55 to go in the game. By the way, at the end of the game, we talk with Rob Manchester. And there's one of the benefits to subscribing to our YouTube channel, because that is only available on YouTube.
That's their third and final timeout.
Titans will use their last timeout with 8:55 left in the game. 4th out and goal from the 10. Pass over the middle, and it is incomplete. Loss of downs, and it will be Georgia Military College football.
Looked like he intercepted that on 21.
Well, did they say it's an interception by Kasai Jones, or is the ball out to the line of scrimmage? 10. Is it a loss of downs or a pick? Some officials near where the pick would have been made. Some officials near the line of scrimmage, and looks like that is going to be a pick. And the line of scrimmage is going to be the 1. Pick number 6 of the year for the Georgia Military College defense. And it is the first for Kasai Jones. Jalen Brown is standing about 5 yards deep in his own end zone. And he's going to pass out of that formation. Catch made at the 9. Drop there, but definitely some breathing room now on the Tarver reception.
85 Tarver with the catch.
And the clock will roll. Well, when you got 99 yards from Paynter, if you're the Bulldogs and you are so inclined, you can run a lot of time off if you can keep the football. Brown on the keeper. To the outside, he'll step out of bounds near the 11. Well, the reminder, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd love for you to. You get access to a lot of stuff that's beyond just games. Conversations with coaches and more. Players, too. I mentioned we got that interesting story about a track runner in Alabama who stopped and went the other way in a cross-country track meet to 10 to an opponent. Kudos to Emmy Long. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Got the screen, and there is running room. Out across the 30, and finally brought down around the 31-yard line, lumbering back to Corian Stanley.
Flag on the play.
And now there is a flag. I did not see. It was away from what I was watching. Was there a late hit? Let's see what the official will call. Well, the good news is that Charlie Allen is up. Well, it was an illegal low block on Allen, and that's why they're illegal. So penalty yardage marked off in addition to the pass play to Stanley.
From Fort Valley, Georgia.
And it'll bring up a first down and 10 from the 47. In the backfield is Mincy. Mincy, another one of those backs that has put points on the board from the running back spot. Mincy with a 13-yard touchdown run. And that happened about 5 minutes ago. Pass caught over the middle. Complete to Okele. And that is inside the 45 to the 43-yard line.
43-yard line, first and 10.
Darnie and Moxie love Granny K, says the shout-out. Shout-out to Ty Jones. The whole family is watching you go with the 2 heart emojis. On a first and 10.
Mincy
And that
on
is
the carry.
Mincy dropped near the line of scrimmage. Shout out to GMC number 55, Vajon Moody. We see a son from mom and dad. Your family's watching. Thank you very much, family. Second, we'll call it 10. Milo lost a half yard on the play, did Mincy. As we are inside 6 minutes to go in the football game, a shortened fourth stanza. And this Titan defense tightening up. Mincy dropped way behind the line of scrimmage.
Gary Green from Central Georgia.
Well, this is a good Central Georgia Tech defensive unit. Coming in allowing negative 16 yards rushing per game. Granted, that was not against the number 9 team in the country, but anytime you're holding somebody to negative yardage,
Third down and long for the Bulldogs.
you put up some impressive stats. Third down and 15. Bulldogs have got to get to the 33 to pick up the first. Brown steps up, lobs, and it is incomplete. Trying to get it to Okale. And that'll bring up a fourth down, and Schneider coming onto the field to boot it away.
Bring up a fourth down.
This is about that spot where Schneider had that beauty
Cole Snyder.
that hit at the 1 and then kicked back and went out at the 3. Couple of guys deep to receive. It is Johnson and Harvey. And this will hit in the direction of Harvey. Takes it on the one hop. Out across the 20.
Key Harvey on the carry gets up to just.
And he'll be right about the 22-yard line.
21. Key Harvey. Walker Hicks on the tackle.
Also a reminder at the end of the ball game, we talk with Rob Manchester about the win, and that is only on YouTube. We will close out our coverage. Get him up in the box. And we'll talk a matchup between currently a couple of independents, but could be part of a conference. And I know they're both part of the GCAA, but as football teams, they are both currently independents. First year of Division I football for Central Georgia Tech. I really like the idea of having a conference in Georgia where eventually maybe you have a conference champion. Heck, maybe you got conference first team, second team, like you do in all the other sports. I am assuming the GCAA would like to add maybe another team or two. Incomplete pass and a penalty flag that is going to be defensive pass interference. Christopher Watson leaning on the receiver. And the officials will call it.
Defensive pass interference, number 50 on the defense. Be a spot foul, automatic first down.
Automatic first down, 1st and 10. Well, the mystery is what will be the final score. Titans would like to get some points before wrapping it up. Georgia Military would like to keep the goose egg, the shutout in place. Georgia Military, who came in as one of the top scoring teams in the country, will stay one of the top scoring teams in the country, averaging 50 a game coming in and 65 currently. Finkley with a pass, and it is incomplete. And we'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 football at the 24-yard line. Handoff given up the middle. Running room to the 32-yard line. And another flag coming in late. On the carry is Deuce Hood. And this may be a late hit on the Bulldogs. Officials discussing. Let's see what they discuss.
Ball, personal foul, number 4, the defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Penalty yardage marked off against Georgia Military. Line of scrimmage, the 47. It is first down. Hand off again to Hood, and Hood will pound his way to about the line of scrimmage. Might have squeaked out an additional yard. Nose of the pigskin, lying just shy of the 48. Well, I'm looking for the down marker on the far sidelines. Don't see it at the moment. Maybe it's hidden behind the chains. I guess so. So it is a 2nd down and 10. Thought he might have squeaked out a yard in the process. Pass over the middle, Finkley, incomplete.
Pass intended for Batista, incomplete.
Well, according to our PA guy, that is Batista on the receiving end. I'm looking at my roster, and it does not provide a name for a number 29. So we'll go with PA guy. And Batista, it is a 3rd down and 10. There is movement. And that movement is going to be charged.
Number 83 offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
To Justin White. He'll go back 5, and it is 3rd and 15.
3rd and long for Central Georgia.
We're about 17 seconds away from the official stopping play and giving us a 2-minute warning. That in college football is not the 2-minute warning. Though it happens at the 2-minute mark. Swamped is Finkley, loses the football. Bulldogs say they've got it.
Phillip Baines, 15.
And the officials will too.
2-minute timeout.
2-minute timeout
Baines calls
in a 65-zip game.
I see dead people. Master 100 feet, deep bone, deep wet. Here, feet, dope, man down.
The pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. Since 1879, we have transformed students into effective leaders and engaged citizens, grounded in civility and respect for others. Whether you want a traditional college experience, something closer to home, or education online that suits your schedule, Georgia Military College is committed to helping you succeed. Start here. Go anywhere.
They are delicious. Next weekend, right here.
2 minutes left to play in the football game. Taking a look at the scoring, 12:32 to play in the first. Smith, a 33-yard touchdown pass from Brown. Then at the 8:51 mark, Phillips goes in from 6 yards out. 7:23 to play in that first stanza. Jones with a 36-yard touchdown run, and after 15 minutes of football, it was a Bulldog 21-zip lead. Quarter number 2, 6-yard pass to Oakleigh from Brown. That happened at the 11:02 mark. Then you had Kitchen with a 3-yard touchdown run. That happened at the 3:50 mark. 1:50 to play in the half, and you got another of those 4 Brown touchdown passes. And this one will cover a total of 39 yards. Well, apparently there was no change of possession, and it is a 4th down and a kick by Gutierrez. And now you got a little extracurricular stuff going on. Georgia Military College coach is stepping in going, listen, guys, you do not want, with 1:32 left to play in the football game, to get kicked out of the game and have to sit out a Lackawanna game. So I am sure part of the conversation on the sidelines is don't get drawn into a fractious moment that doesn't hurt today but hurts next Saturday. 9 seconds to play in the first half, and Smith on the receiving end of a 33-yard touchdown strike from Brown, and we went into the locker room at halftime in a 51-zip ball game. Had a safety mixed in, too, in the first half. Gutierrez on a muffed snap let the ball roll out of the backside of the end zone. Incomplete with a pass. Young trying to get it to Mason Molder. 13:34 to play in the third. Kitchen again with a touchdown. This one from 8 yards out. And then with 11:53 to play in the fourth, Mincy gets in on the action. A 13-yard touchdown run. And Perez, as he has been all season long, perfect on the extra point kicks. And that's where we are currently. 65-zip Bulldogs with 1:15 left to play.
Peters on the carry, number 27. Second down.
Lackawanna next week. 1 o'clock kickoff, and we'll have the coverage for you. Running room across the 40, and
Peters again gets that first down.
Was that one heck of a stiff arm?
Past the 45.
Tamarian Peters. And 66 yards coming into the day, picking up a big chunk of yardage there
First and 10 Dogs.
to the 46-yard line.
Left in the game.
Young at quarterback. He'll keep it. And he'll be down near the 46, a gain of a yard. So that's your scoring. Next week, that's your opponent, Lackawanna. Let's see, I'm looking at the play clock. It is higher than the game clock, so you don't have to snap the football. But let's see if they will. Brown back into the ball game. I don't think they've got to. But will, and it needs a turf. And that will be your ball game. Came in averaging 50 a game. They will leave averaging even more. Georgia Military College, the 9th-ranked team in the country, will improve to 3-1. Central Georgia Tech absorbing their first loss of the year. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. If you want to watch the game later, all of our stuff on demand, $25 a year. You get it all, about 1,000 games and unlimited downloads. And as I mentioned, big game 1 week from today. Falcons from Lackawanna coming to town. And we will have the live coverage for you right here on JockJive. The conversation with Rob Manchester happens on YouTube. You should see that in about 15 or 20 minutes. Thanks so much for watching. For all the folks at Georgia Military College and JockJive, I'm Robert Williamson. So long, everybody.